Are you hoping to go to Disney World in 2023 and trying to figure out your dates? Today, I will have the 4 best and 4 worst times to go in 2023. The very first step in planning any Disney World trip is to figure out your dates, and maybe your work schedule or your school schedule determines that for you, in which case move on in the planning process and go from there. But if you have some openness, some flexibility, you might be trying to pick the best times to go so that you can have lower crowds and shorter lines throughout your trip. I will be sharing that with you. I also will be sharing the worst times to go because some of them might surprise you. And if you have a trip planned, then you need to know what to expect. Before we dive into the best and worst times, I want to just mention how we go about doing this. So every year we put together a crowd calendar that has our predictions of how busy we think any particular date is going to be. It is an educated guess based on many years of experience in the parks ourselves, as well as pulling together all of the dates for cheer and dance competitions, Run Disney events, holidays, and Disney's own ticket prices because they price their tickets based on how busy they think it will be. So we use all that information to put together our predictions. Early 2022, from about January to April or so, was unlike anything anyone could have expected, including Disney. And so a lot of predictions were off because there was a lot more pent-up demand than anyone could have expected. But starting in about May of 2022, things settled back into a more normal pattern. So we feel more comfortable going forward that our predictions will be fairly accurate. So let's dive into the 4 best times to go. And we are going to start with our very favorite time to travel, and that is in January. So in 2023, the first best time to go is going to likely be starting January 17th and going through February 9th. January starts off pretty busy because we have New Year's crowds, we have a Run Disney weekend, there is a 3-day holiday weekend, as well as dance and cheer competitions. So the beginning of January has some busy times, but once those are done, then it will be much more mild in terms of crowds, but also weather. That is why it is our very favorite time to go, because we actually sometimes pack hoodies. It is just incredible weather. We also really like Festival of the Arts at Epcot, which starts in mid-January and is taking place during this period. So that is going to be our personal favorite time to go at all of 2023. And if you have the ability to travel then, you might enjoy it as well. The second time period in 2023 that is likely to be a good time to travel is May 1st through the 25th. Now, a lot of times May is excluded from these because there are multiple cheer competitions in early May, but those same competitions are being held in April of 2023. So May 1st to the 25th is fairly wide open as far as that goes. Now, for people that really want to swim or want to visit a water park or something, this is going to be a fantastic time to be there. It's right before the summer crowds, but it's definitely plenty warm to do all of the swimming and outdoor activities. A third time period that is going to likely be light crowds is August 14th through the 31st in 2023. So we go through the summer, which has fairly busy crowds, and then we end up at the end of August. Now, for a lot of people, this is still summer. People are still out of school. And if that's you, then this might be a great time to choose if you want to pick any time during your summer break to go. But for a lot of people, it is back to school time in early August. And so that's why the parks get a lot less crowded. It is going to be very, very hot. So just know that. But if you're looking for a time in the summer to go with less crowds, this would be a good pick. And lastly is most of September 5th through the 28th specifically. September is reliable as in terms of crowds, always has been, maybe always will be, unless Disney decides to schedule a Run Disney event or something. The only downside being that it is hurricane season, so you always have that as a possibility. But in general, it is a really great time to be there. And the Halloween party is taking place, and you have Food and Wine Festival, light crowds, still hot, but not peak heat. So that might be a good choice if you want to enjoy those activities without as many people around. And now for the 4 worst times to go in 2023. And I'm going to start the first with just a blanket holidays, just holidays. The 4 busiest holidays are going to be Easter, and specifically Easter week, July 4th, which is usually a few days around July 4th, and then Thanksgiving week and Christmas week, specifically the week between Christmas and New Year's. Those are just reliably going to be busy, and so you can always count on those being a worse time to travel as far as crowds go. Now let's talk about a time period you might not have predicted, and that is late February. Now, normally this isn't a really busy time, at least not the whole end of February. You have the 3-day holiday weekend, which is reliably busy every year, but in 2023, we also have a few other things happening. We have a Run Disney event, we have a cheer and dance competition, and Mardi Gras, because people that live in New Orleans have the time off and they often go to Disney World. So having 4 things happen all at once is going to make end of February much busier than it usually is. And so if you're planning to go then just be aware of that so you're prepared. The third category of worst times to go in 2023 as far as crowds go is going to be spring break. Now, spring break crowds start to show up around March 10th and they go all the way through Easter, with Easter week being the busiest of all. And so if you are planning to go, just be aware of that. A lot of people know that spring break is busy, but may not understand just how long spring break season lasts. And that is going to be the dates for 2023, March 10th through Easter week. And lastly, for busiest times to go is going to be the first 2 weeks of October. This did not used to be a busy time. In fact, Disney used to offer promotions to get people to travel in October. And now it is not the case and hasn't been for several years. And that's because so many schools have fall breaks. So people want to take advantage and head out of town. But a lot of them do that now, and a lot of them go to Disney World. So if you're planning to be there the first part of October, be aware of that. You might be able to enjoy things like the Halloween party and Food and Wine Festival, but you also will have the crowds as well. I hope that information has been helpful. We do have explanations of every day of 2023 and why we think it will or will not be busy on the website. So feel free to check out our crowd calendar for more information. Thanks for joining.